Hello everyone. This is a collective message for all of you who have experienced the pain of betrayals, the disappearance of a loved one, and a toxic relationship. Today, we will be looking at a spread.
How will karma eventually catch up with this particular individual?
This is coming up in April. Let's take a look. But before we get started,
we are now going to activate the powerful elemental energies of fire, earth, and air.
and we will set up a protective system. Can you now bring to mind those past relationships that have affected you, that have shaped you? You're still interested in those past relationships, the ones where you're no longer a part of their life, but deep down, you really want to know if that person is truly suffering, if they genuinely want to get you back. Perhaps they're feeling some regret now.
How does he see his life without you?
We are watching.
It will be great.
In which we are going to see who this person is.
Is he thinking of you?
And how his relationships and his further life unfold. This is the Justice card to activate the forecast and reveal all the secrets of this karma. And so we begin, but before we start, I will activate the cards to create a
Connection with spirits. And so we are about to get started.
Who is this person? Before I begin to read the cards, I will first activate this particular forecast. So we're looking at the very first card, the Wheel of Fortune. Who is this person we're seeing here? Well, of course, this is someone who is truly a darling of destiny, a person who moves through life with such incredible ease. We'll soon discover, as we continue with the forecast, whether this individual is a man or a woman. The main thing now is to understand what kind of person he really is. And he is a person who moves through life with ease and nonchalance, never dwelling on the people who happen to be around him. He simply passes them by as a cycle of his life, never lingering anywhere. So, who is he? The Seven of Cups represents a person with many ideas and plans swirling in their mind, plans they might want to bring to life or have been carefully nurturing for a very long time. This is a man. This is a man who isn't merely capable of loving women, but is also quite adept at creating significant problems for them, such as, for example, causing them pain and deep emotional distress. You see, he has a way of putting women into situations where he might promise them the world, promise them so much, but then, in the end, he delivers absolutely nothing. So, this is a definite type of manipulator who, when entering a relationship, might not conduct themselves very honorably. This person, he's definitely got some problems. He's a man who is struggling to escape from his current difficult circumstances. We can see that he has also endured a very challenging moment in his life, and this deep pain, he covers it up with his aggression towards the world. And after your breakup, after you ended that relationship and moved on from it, that person underwent significant changes. These changes were not for the better. This is the moment, the complete collapse of all his plans. There's a certain difficult moment here, isn't there? Everything is falling apart. Everything has reached such a low point where he doesn't know where to turn or what to do next. And the 8 here indicates that he's trying to find a way out of this difficult situation, but he's simply unable to succeed. It's no wonder the first card was the Wheel of Fortune. It always implies this: you can be up or down, but you never stand still. It might seem to this person that, yes, I'm incredibly lucky right now, everything is going my way, and I can be with absolutely any woman I choose. But there comes a moment when he is left alone, when it's not merely destruction, but tragedy itself ascends to the level of loneliness, when a person feels a profound sense of despair and doesn't know how to extricate himself from this state. Let us now consider what else is here. Who is he? What is he? Right now, at this moment, this person is in a state where they don't know how to proceed. And next we'll see if he's thinking of you, right? Because this card specifically indicates that there's a certain fixation on some things. What kind of fixation is this? Let's see. This person ended the relationship with you, but they're still secretly watching you from the sidelines. This means that at some level, you are still interesting to them, at least for a certain period. And this interest, he doesn't openly display it, he keeps it hidden away. So there's a certain specific moment, perhaps, when a person feels a sense of shame, yes, or they fully understand that they have somehow behaved quite poorly towards you, much like a small, immature child would, but he keeps you constantly in his mind, and he simply cannot let go of that particular thought. He would like to understand what exactly went wrong, why things in your relationship didn't turn out the way you had hoped they would. All right, let's see what he thinks about you. Of course, he's definitely thinking of you. To him, you are like the woman fate itself had given him. You were exactly at the pinnacle, at that crucial stage of your relationship when profound shared changes were possible for both him and for you. And he knew it. You, at some point, could even here urge this person to take drastic steps, right? Someone might have changed their job. Someone pursued new opportunities. You are a woman who could truly support him, change him, and guide him.
And at this very moment, this person is able to realize all of this.
The realization that is present here, yes, in the form of the Divine Judgment card, while on our very first card, we had specifically laid out the earthly judgment. And when the second, the Divine one, is placed down, these two cards together clearly demonstrate to us that the individual truly comprehends that they were in the wrong. So this is precisely the moment when a man might realize that he did something wrong, that you were given to him by destiny, that you were creating for him that very space he truly needed. You were the catalyst that propelled him forward. he is tormented by memories of a very romantic trip you had together, but the thoughts that come to his mind about you are such that you could have broken up with him at that moment. You most likely had a chance when you yourself wanted to end this relationship, and he understands that. He holds on to these memories of you traveling somewhere, of a shared journey you had, of a difficult conversation, but at that moment he didn't want to lose you, and he could have lost you in a single moment. This man believes that there are many, many people surrounding you, and at some point he might come to realize that his position could be taken, that there are other individuals present here who would also very much like to be by your side, to be a part of your life, and this creates a certain kind of jealousy for him. How can this be? We broke up, I'm moving on, and she might have someone new. However, since this person still has an interest in you and they're still thinking of you, I don't rule out that they might reappear after some time, despite the fact that I see this person's life after your breakup has been severely, truly severely battered, right? So there's this point, you see, that for him, after you, it was truly very, very difficult to continue living, to move forward. Yes, despite the fact that you two had broken up. And right now he's thinking that there could be someone by your side, and perhaps not just one person. There could be many friends, a lot of social interaction happening around you. And right now he's actually going through a deep contemplation of jealousy, you see. How could this possibly be? And why am I not the one standing right there? But he believes that you were the one who broke up with him, not he with you. That the separation happened specifically due to your fault. Isn't that right? That it was you who abandoned this person, plunged yourself into some kind of mournful state. That you were ready to sacrifice everything, to retreat into silence, right? And it was you who brought this relationship to its conclusion. That's what he believes. That's how he perceives the situation. But at the same time, we can clearly see that this person is deeply troubled, feeling that something went wrong, that he carries a certain amount of guilt, and that circumstances played out exactly in this manner and not in any other. Let's take a look at what else might be of interest here. The King of Clubs, that's him himself. We see a man who's now considering meeting you, though much time has gone by. He'd like to show himself, but in what way? It's not a phone call, and it's not some kind of casual message, right? This person wants to meet you in reality. He wants to come and meet you, see you, and show you that he is still worthy of your affection. We see a person who at some point is ready to talk about being prepared to fight for you. But again, these are just his thoughts in his head. It's superficial. The relationship is already over, and he realizes he can't move on without you. We can see that he's running out of resources to be able to move forward. And these are energy resources. It's not money or anything material. This is precisely that moment when a person has absolutely nowhere to draw strength from, to keep moving ahead. And so we see a man who, on this very horse, is standing absolutely still and not galloping forward. He's just standing there waiting, hoping that suddenly he'll get an opportunity to meet you. What does he think about you? He believes that you are closed off to him. He sees that you're not making contact, you can't meet him anywhere, that you've simply become unavailable to him. And of course, we understand that he's not just concerned about this, he's wondering what he should do, how he should proceed. And it's quite possible he might begin to search for you. This individual could genuinely start looking for you. He might try to find you through his connections, through other people. You'll find that after a certain amount of time, you could receive some kind of message or information from someone. And in that message, it would become quite clear that this person had been inquiring about you, asking someone somewhere about something, right? So there will be moments when he'll try to find you through someone, because we see that you've simply become a closed book to him. All of this is now unavailable to him. What other thoughts does he have? His thoughts are quite romantic. This person might, at this very moment, want to establish a truly family-oriented environment. But for now, he only has thoughts on this matter, and he might be choosing between you and the person who is also trying to make their moves on him. There's someone he's also interested in, but he doesn't need that. We see that this person is closing himself off. He's shutting down, and the connections he attempted to establish with others after you, they prove to be quite painful. They don't bring him the moral satisfaction that he experienced with you, do they? And these feelings, these deep concerns, when he comes to realize that the events in his life are simply not progressing, not moving forward at all, meaning we're presented with a clear picture where he's just stuck, standing completely still. And everything that happens in his relationships, it all takes on the character of some kind of stagnation, right? We see a situation where he's not developing in his relationships. For him, everything is completely turned upside down. And there is even a certain person who would want to rescue him from this predicament, but he doesn't need that. He can only save himself from this with your help. This person thinks he's not the only one for you, that there's another man or a rival. Perhaps you already have a boyfriend or a husband, because we still see a relationship that's been going on for quite some time. And in the context of this relationship, he fully understands that he will be the third person. He realizes that he will have to engage with you either in some form of negotiation or some direct communication. But he really wants to talk to you, to have a conversation, and to try and prove to you that perhaps you made a significant mistake when you decided to break up with him, didn't you? Because he's feeling quite unwell. He's in a bad place right now. He's genuinely trying his best to survive and cope with some very specific and challenging circumstances, and he's finding it incredibly difficult to manage. And then we'll also take a closer look and see what other thoughts, what other ideas might be going through his mind concerning you. He believes that you either got jealous of him, or there was a situation where a certain individual was able to create this kind of atmosphere for you, right? That is, there was a third party that interfered in your relationship. And he believes that your relationship ended solely because of this, because of your jealousy. It wasn't because of anything he did or that he behaved in some improper way, but it was precisely because you decided to walk away from him for another woman. Well, this individual situation here is quite clear to us. This particular topic, as you can imagine, is not at all straightforward. And in the third segment, we will finally discover what this individual's karma truly is and how fate might ultimately turn out for him in the future, and precisely how all of this will eventually unfold. And we see the King of Cups. The King of Cups, a figure who, well, carries his heart so very openly, who brings all of his deepest and most sincere emotions out into this wide and beautiful world. Yes, this particular individual occasionally experiences these sudden bursts of light and casual relationships that don't really require any serious commitment at all, which simply rush forward like a powerful and swirling whirlpool, just like the vast and endless depths of the great ocean, don't they? And he seems to believe that he can just ride from one wave of a relationship to the next, and that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But let's see how fate will ultimately turn out for him in the end. And fate will present itself to him in the form of a specific individual who could very well cause him a great deal of trouble. Yes, we're seeing a woman who will be demanding money from him, demanding gifts, and all sorts of material benefits, right? So we're looking at a situation where a person who gets involved in these rather frivolous relationships will inevitably encounter a woman who will want a great deal from him. So this is quite an interesting moment when what will be present here is not love, not a genuine relationship, no, not the kind of spiritual intimacy that you once shared with someone, but rather a very specific interest, one that is purely consumerist in nature, which ultimately creates that particular kind of environment where all they simply want is to get something from a man. That's truly all there is to it. Let's see how karma will play out for him next. And he'll quickly end this relationship. Yes, it's clear these relationships will also be short-lived. Nothing good will come of this for him. He might even be in a state where when perhaps it's just, when he can no longer see his own path clearly, right? When it starts to seem to him that he simply doesn't know at all anymore which direction he should be moving in. Does he really need to have a relationship? Does he even need this kind of wild and reckless lifestyle that he's been leading, right? Because this is a person who is, after all, a true favorite of fortune and a very blessed child of destiny. And when he realizes this, yes, when that true understanding comes, a switch will flip, he'll start making the right decisions. Ultimately, his destiny will begin to teach him something. Let's see what else is here. We still see concerns connected to you. This person deep down would truly like to come back to you. Yes, but this particular return won't be happening right now, will it? There will be a specific moment in time when we can clearly see him deeply reflecting on you, but the actual actions, the concrete steps that he will eventually take, they will only manifest themselves when he inevitably runs into very complicated, truly difficult relationships, which will not evoke within him any genuine feelings of love, nor any kind of positive emotions whatsoever. We're looking at a scenario where he'll start to regret how good things were with you. He had a time when everything was truly going well, when there was peace, calm, and harmony, right? On the card, we see not just a state of mind, but a woman who was truly happy when she was by his side. And he will come to realize this, because it's one thing to give happiness and quite another to accept it or to scatter it in all directions. And in your relationship, you truly shared this happiness. You could give each other much more, and he'll come to realize it. Karma will bring him exactly this. Let's take another look and see what exactly is going to happen here. So, he's going to be in a very difficult situation. And it won't just involve his personal matters. You see, there could be issues with his health. There might also be circumstances related to some kind of physical injuries. And these might not just be problematic situations. They will last for a very long time. They will be stretched out over time. This person will be contemplating, asking himself if he truly made the right choices in his life. Will there ever be a chance for happiness to re-enter his life? There's a certain profound realization within the Hanged Man card, particularly in this specific position, that I absolutely must re-examine something. This is a person who is hanging by, suspended by one leg. He will come to realize what he truly needs to change in his life, how he must begin to transform himself so that harmony can finally enter his existence, so that these relationships are not merely superficial, but instead become much deeper, more mature. We can see that people are, for the most part, quite drawn to him. He's not a bad person at all. In fact, he's a rather interesting individual. But because he initially considers himself a darling of fate, believing that he's lucky in everything, as the first card, the Wheel of Fortune, tells us, that's why he found himself in such a difficult predicament. That is precisely why he is currently in a state of uncertainty, pondering how he should continue living his life. Let's also add what karma has prepared for this individual. And she is preparing for him a meeting with a very important person. It's a man, it could be a very mature individual that can either provide him with guidance or establish a particular circumstance for him where he will gain a clear understanding of how he needs to move forward and in what specific direction. For many, this could serve as a catalyst for a job change or the creation of a new role to which they could transition. This person can engage in something they haven't done before, and they will truly immerse themselves in it, right? Here, there will be a certain kind of immersion, specifically a complete immersion into his work, into some particular activity, in order to distance himself from this superficiality that had been a part of his life up until this point. Let's add something else, something interesting that will happen here. Yes, we'll see if he manages to extricate himself from this complex predicament. He has a significant journey ahead of him, both a path to follow and an adventure to undertake. There will be a period, a specific moment when he will experience a great deal of movement, many transitions, many journeys, all of which will ultimately guide him towards happiness and profound joy. Let's see, will this be revealed to him with true joy? But he will always feel that something is not quite enough. He will need, just like a small child, some kind of toy that will bring him happiness, but nothing really brings him much happiness. We see a situation where a person will try to get involved in some frivolous relationships and start changing jobs and listen to himself, and will also listen to someone else. But essentially, he still, just like in the initial scenario, he remains a small, helpless child who has no idea where to move forward from here, and he desperately needs some kind of toy. What exactly is this toy? Let's take a closer look and see what kind of toy this might be. And this toy, it's a pivotal moment when he finds himself unable to move forward. He's stuck right where he is, and it seems to him that if he were to acquire something for himself right now, then he will most certainly get himself out of his difficult situation. We see a person who has truly found himself not just in a difficult spot, but in a situation from which it's absolutely impossible to escape, right? This is a very challenging moment for him. When such light-minded individuals find themselves in complex situations, they often experience a certain kind of stupor, as we clearly observe in this painting. Here, this is precisely the moment of a clash, a collision of interests, a confrontation with other people, or there might even be some very serious situations like the one depicted in this image, perhaps even road accidents and other crashes. So, around him, there will be cataclysms occurring, which will be creating problems for him, from which it will be difficult for him to get out. So let's see. Why exactly does he no longer have access to you? Let's see. What exactly is happening?
And we see
a wizard here. Yes, we see a magician who is telling us that you have already healed from these relationships. You don't need this anymore. You've come to realize that this individual is a master manipulator. Yes, that all he needs is to perform for an audience. This is a person who can, of course, periodically remember you. But a meeting, of course, is close to him because you have this very clear understanding, this realization that you no longer need him. Let's take a look at what else might be keeping you from him. And a new love will envelop you, one that has either already manifested itself or will soon appear on your path. Because the woman for whom the Ace of Cups appears, she brings not merely love, but she brings her entire being, her very soul, and her physical body. She brings into this world precisely a kind of romance and feelings that are able to completely erase all of the past. So tell me, what else is there here that's still getting in the way? Well, of course, the primary obstacle preventing him from meeting with you is, without a doubt, the very specific conditions that you yourself have established. I believe that when you two parted ways, you clearly presented this individual with a set of very particular terms. For instance, you stipulated that you would occupy one space and he would occupy another entirely separate one, and that ideally he should no longer disturb you. But as I already said, this person will still appear in your life, isn't that right? He just can't quite shake you off yet. We see a pattern where he keeps running into certain situations. He's still thinking about you nonetheless, isn't he? There's a certain point where he'd really like to meet you again, despite you saying it's not possible, right? You are capable of, in these kinds of relationships, truly demonstrating to the other person that I no longer have any need for this. Isn't that right? But he will still somehow either write or express himself again after some time. No, it won't be happening right now. For now, he's only nurturing this plan within his mind that he would truly like to relive those very feelings, those deep emotions that he once experienced when he was with you, which sadly he can no longer experience again. And it was precisely at that moment, perhaps, that he was feeling quite good. And now, right here, there might be an understanding of this. So let's take a look what else will be revealed here, why he no longer has access to you. And we see you, we truly see you as a self-sufficient Empress who can already have either a family of your own or perhaps new relationships that have just begun to blossom and in which you can fully immerse yourself. And there's no place for the past here, because since you two broke up, and I can see that you were the one who took these first steps, he didn't walk away from this relationship, but you were the one who walked away from this relationship, and you put an end to all of it, didn't you? And what we see is a scenario where it is you, specifically, who will not allow this person to meet with you, no matter how much they might truly desire it, because you could already, in fact, be at the very peak of feeling good, where everything in your life is unfolding exactly as you would have always wished for it to be. We see a picture where the woman is an empress. She is incredibly self-sufficient here, especially in this particular deck, yes, in the zombie tarot deck. This woman is truly very self-reliant. She can plant flowers here and manage this entire world and raise children and work and succeed at absolutely everything. That is the reason why she no longer requires the return of a person who used to manipulate her, who constantly created all these ridiculous and absurd situations in which there was always a sense of duality and the presence of other women, right? And there were many moments during which, well, this specific individual was simply causing you a great deal of emotional pain. She does not need any of that in her life anymore. We'll see what kind of obstacles there are. And an obstacle here could very well be a certain person. This person is older. It could be someone like a mother or a grandmother, or it could simply be a woman of mature age who might in fact be protecting you from this person, right? And we see a situation where no matter how hard you try to truly get close to a woman, right? No matter how much a man attempts to approach a woman, there will always be obstacles present, won't there? Here, of course, we are presented with a picture in which old relationships simply have no place anymore. They have all completely run their course. This man, he fully understands that for him, this specific painting is most certainly already completed. And perhaps he will, of course, try to make advances towards you here, but nothing will come of it anymore. And that is precisely his karma, because what was between the two of you, it's clearly shown that it was something truly valuable and profound, right? That is, it's something that is given to people very, very rarely. And these relationships which he went through, but he didn't truly notice them, did he? He simply passed through them as if they were just an easy, uncomplicated path. This is precisely the whole crux of this entire situation, that he will eventually come to a full realization. But once this understanding truly settles in, he will no longer have any access to you, and he won't be able to return to you, no matter how much he might desperately wish for it. Let's now take a look at some other obstacles. But his obstacle will be this: no matter how much time he spends thinking about you, no matter how deeply he ponders your situation, what we clearly see is a picture where the man himself is, in fact, in a state of illness. Isn't that right? So he might be desiring something romantic. He's keen to connect with you personally, but he finds himself unable to act on it because of various personal circumstances. He's in a state of inaction. He won't be demonstrating any grand interest towards you at this particular moment. His thoughts will solely be focused on you. Let's take another look at how this whole situation is actually going to develop. Yes, it's quite possible this individual might completely immerse himself in his work. This man could very well realize that at this particular moment, it would be best for him to really put his main focus on whatever activity he's currently engaged in. Wouldn't you agree?
What?
That will bring him some kind of physical satisfaction or perhaps emotional, right? That he will be doing something here, something that will truly occupy his mind and specifically his thoughts and his reflections about you. All right, what else is interesting to see here?
Both, he will be thinking about you all of the time and he will always feel drawn towards you. It's a very difficult card that has been dealt to him in this particular situation. You are truly and completely out of reach for him right now.
And of course, he might even understand that you may not be by yourself, or perhaps you simply don't wish to see him, right? But he will constantly mentally reach out to you. Mentally, this person might still be able to reach out to you in some way, right? Because we can clearly see, of course, that on an energetic level, this individual is not yet completely unbound from you. No matter how long ago these relationships may have taken place, we can see that they are not entirely finished.
And it goes without saying, this particular subject matter still presents a considerably difficult challenge for him at this point in time.
So what else is there left for him to do? What kind of obstacles could there possibly be? And he is trying to remove all of these obstacles. Just look at him. He's trying to prove to the entire world that he was right all along, wasn't he? That the situation because of which you broke up, it might not have been only his fault, but yours as well. And that's why we see this picture where he can talk to someone, talk about you. He's trying with someone's help to prove to absolutely everyone, you see, that in those really challenging periods of your relationship, particularly when it came to the separation, he was completely blameless. He's trying to completely absolve himself of all guilt. And he's not simply trying to prove it. He's actively attempting to tell this story, perhaps to everyone, all of his friends, all the people with whom he starts a conversation about you. And this is not a simple person. Yes, we can see that if something doesn't go his way, then this individual experiences a sudden outburst of aggression, a moment of intense, almost pure rage, especially when things deviate from his carefully laid plans. Of course, this person is a very skilled manipulator indeed. When he's feeling good and but everything is going smoothly, then of course he can be truly wonderful, genuinely kind and incredibly successful and handsome and quite agile and active. Yes. But when things don't go his way, we see him become quite aggressive, even volatile and difficult. This is a person who can threaten the whole world and claim he's good, but that's just how circumstances unfolded, right? In which he is precisely not to blame. Yes, it's quite clear that nothing is ever simple, but I think we should still take a closer look. What exactly?
What will you possess? What will come back to you? And for you, the Four of Wands has been revealed.
This is a very good card in this reading, isn't it? It specifically indicates that despite the separation, you will create your own family, your own space, and that you will be truly happy in the union that you will form. Yes, you see, those individuals, those particular women who haven't yet encountered or perhaps they could have already encountered a relationship. Yes, they are truly standing right on the threshold now, right on the very threshold of romance. Yes. This is the moment when people meet, when they connect, when they go out to restaurants together, when they fall in love with each other. This is truly the period of romance when you can be incredibly, incredibly happy. And the world gives this to you in return for those toxic relationships in which you were previously immersed. Let's take another look and see what this world has in store for you. Just look at this, what a truly beautiful moon card has appeared here.
Yes, it opens up with the Two of Cups, not just romance. Yes, it reveals to you a moment of truly ultra romantic engagement, when you'll want to walk with someone all night, when everything in this world will be offered to you. All right, now come on, let's take a look and see which emperor you'll draw for your future. Girls, look, this is a really, really good sign. This is someone who will stand by you on your journey. He is definitely a true protector. This is a man with whom you are destined to build a truly family-oriented relationship, because I see that before this, things were opening up and the Empress card was revealed, and I also see the 4 there. Yes. So this will be quite unequivocally the very person with whom you are truly destined to build family relationships and a shared family plan. How then will all of this unfold? Let's take a look at what else destiny has prepared for you.
Hey, look, we've got a map.
Oh, just look at this power card we have here, how absolutely wonderful it is, isn't it? This represents a person who will always, without fail, be thinking of you and will consistently take care of your every need. Yes, it's the clear manifestation of a certain powerful, undeniable force that will continuously hold this individual, this man, very close to you, right by your side. Next, we see the Ten of Cups, which signifies that you are going to be extremely happy in these relationships. This is a very positive forecast, because we can see that even though the events you experienced were painful and your difficult relationship with this challenging person, yes, they are now concluding very favorably for you. The Ten of Cups, it is always, always a truly blessed and favorable period. It's always about love, happiness, bright sunshine, and deep mutual understanding. Let's see what else will be revealed to you regarding your destiny. Let's find out. But I see a scenario unfolding where, despite everything, this person you broke up with, he will still make his presence felt. He will want to fight for you to win you back. He will be filled with jealousy, thinking, how can this be? You're with someone else, with another man, and he will make his presence known. He will gravitate towards you. You might have a rather challenging conversation with him, yes. This individual will make their presence known, but not for quite some time. You need to understand that a considerable period of time might pass, after which he will initiate contact and wish to re-enter the relationship. However, for him, there will be no path back to this place. And the three that is revealed here, it suggests that you may very well find yourself at the precise moment when this individual finally makes their appearance, in a state of mind where you will no longer have any need for them whatsoever, when you will be completely ready and prepared to take full control of the situation. And when this person appears, you can consciously tell him that you have left these relationships forever. Well, this deck offers quite an interesting prediction. Let's pull out another oracle. Let's bring out the oracle, and then we'll see what else is still left for us to witness here. To find out about the man, yes, what kind of circumstances will unfold for him, and what else will come to pass. So let's take a look now at the events that are awaiting the man you've recently broken up with. What kind of karma then is he destined to face? What exactly is the theme that awaits him in his encounters and his relationships? Let's take a look. Yes, we can see that this person truly wants to love. Yes, he wants to love, but then again, you see he behaves just like a little child. Look, this is our very second prediction, the second round we're doing together, yes, with this magical deck. And we can clearly see that this person, in their relationships, in their love, in all their emotions, they are truly like a small child. They desperately need to be loved, to be played with. Exactly like with a small child, just like with a small boy.
this person might have completely immature thoughts. He might be in a state where we see an adult, yes, an adult man who can make conscious decisions, who can do everything so that people around him understand him precisely as an adult. But he's playing at a very childish kind of love. He's playing, as we can clearly see, at a love in which everything feels like it's just make-believe, or like it is with very small children, isn't it? Well then, let's take another moment to see what else is happening with this particular person. We can see that he might be feeling very unwell right now, can't we? This is a moment when an axe like this, quite sharp, appears in the reading specifically for love, for relationships. This could suggest that the broken relationships, the ones this person was involved in, are now causing him significant pain. Yes, such a deep pain that he realizes these relationships have already come to an end, yet he still wishes he could continue to be a part of them, to engage in them. For some reason, he's not allowed to do that easy. We're looking at a scene here that vividly portrays someone who desperately wants to draw attention to himself, yet can't comprehend why things aren't unfolding according to his carefully laid plans. Well then, let's take another look at what else is around him. And next to him, this kind of octopus appears. And this is not an easy situation, is it? This is a person who is trying with every fiber of their soul to cling to you, to hold on to you, and even to keep you. But he does it only in his mind. What we're seeing here, it's all in his head. These are his deep reflections, his very thoughts about how he could have kept you. But he didn't do it. He truly believed that in this relationship you would remain, no matter how much pain you were feeling. Yes, and of course he still thinks that this can be overcome, doesn't he? So, he's showing us that he thinks he can just come here and ask for forgiveness using this card of his, and that everything will simply be over, and then again and again he'll just repeat exactly what he wants to repeat. But that's not the case. Let's take a look. Well, what do we have here? And it's precisely this severed stump that's visible right here. It tells us quite clearly that it's all over. This tree, the tree of your relationship, has been cut down. They have come to an end. There is no turning back, no return to this relationship. There is only pain, loss, and his own personal struggles in which this person is currently immersed. And of course, he might truly realize that he acted wrongly. Yes, he's quite capable of being cunning and engaging in discussions with others about the topic of your relationship, about the fact that things were not at all straightforward or easy, that he might even go so far as to deceive or mislead regarding the actual progression of your relationship. He might embellish things, be cunning in places, or present them very gently and compliantly, yes, showing other people that he was a good person, but the situation itself speaks volumes. We see someone who only loves on the surface, don't we? This is a very superficial individual. He's not capable of giving anything truly meaningful or serious because he himself is just like a small, immature child who's simply playing games with the idea of love. And he's not completely untethered from you yet. Pause. Mentally somewhere, pause, there are still certain attachments, pause, that the person is still dwelling in, right? He remains in that state only because he's grown accustomed to receiving absolutely everything handed to him on a silver platter, everything at that level, So he doesn't even comprehend why they decided to part ways with him. I mean, how could that possibly be? After all, I was a good man. But this is only an illusory, deceptive idea of it. And so this rope that is shown here, it implies that you are still connected to each other somehow. Of course, you might be tied to or linked by the common people who are around you, right? Perhaps there are some mutual friends or a shared social circle of people who might still be able to communicate between the two of you, correct? However, what we clearly perceive is a distinct pattern of a very specific attachment that he has towards you. Isn't that so? And this particular attachment of his to you, which is quite possibly still a painful one, it continues to persist and remains present at this moment. And right now,
This is precisely the moment that shows us how far apart you are from each other, how much distance there is between you. And now we will see yes. And the time card tells us that this time is truly necessary for you. It most likely is a karmic indication, because when a situation like this unfolds, it simply means that you were destined to part ways. You were in the wrong relationship and with the wrong person. And this man, despite the fact that you truly met all of his expectations and criteria, he simply couldn't bring himself to appreciate you. He failed to value your genuine feelings. He couldn't see your unwavering devotion, your inherent beauty, or you as the incredible woman that you are. Could he? And so destiny itself is now gently leading him away from you, and in turn it is guiding you away from him. But still, his presence, his manifestation towards you will definitely occur. Yes, we clearly perceive a strong romantic connection when this person will truly reveal themselves to you with their genuine feelings, with perhaps even a very significant phone call. Yes, and it might not just be a simple phone call. It could also be a thoughtful, meaningful gift coming directly in your direction. Indeed. But you won't accept this man, you see. You will do everything in your power to make it clear to him that you are no longer available, that your separation from him is a punishment. And in reality, this breakup is a true punishment for him, because, you know, there are people who only after a separation truly realize what they are losing in this life and just how deeply they were connected to that other person. And that realization, it only comes much later. Let's proceed to add 3 additional cards to the final tally, and then we will both get to see what the true situation is.
This establishment will be opening its doors right here.
And so, despite the fact that your exclusive relationship has come to an end, we still see his influence on you and your thoughts about him, don't we? Your reflections concerning him, they will remain quite muddled and very unclear. You won't be able to accept this individual because the butt that's left behind here, she can only quietly reflect and ponder on everything that has transpired throughout her life and whether she truly needs any of it. And the nocturnal fears that might specifically accompany this, and the nighttime anxieties, yes, that this owl or eagle owl brings here, the one we see in the picture, it is precisely about you that it speaks. She's telling you that these relationships are no longer necessary for you. You've already moved past them. You've shut yourself off. And no matter what arrows of love this person might send your way, even if it's after some time has passed, you don't have to accept him. You can simply and smoothly walk away. So I can clearly perceive that a rather challenging destiny awaits this individual. Yes, I truly see that for you, my dear girls. Everything will certainly turn out wonderfully. I am now releasing you, and I wish you all peace, kindness, and most certainly abundant love.